I've been floating around YouTube like a cute little asteroid for years now. I've been around for most of the YouTube drama, but one rabbit hole I've never gone down is Boogie's hole. He started to fade from the public eye when he shifted his gaming fun content into more negative, self-hating rants about money.
Well, this is a video I've dreaded making, so I'm asking for your help as we head into the holiday season.
Boogie greenlit this documentary by YouTuber Mike Klum, despite seeing multiple drafts, thinking this was a good idea. There's a lot more to discuss, so let's head to the video.
Knowing that I had a job that every person in the world would fucking kill for, and I fucked it up.
So right off the bat, we're hit with this montage of clips of Boogie and an overweight actor who might also just be Boogie, I can't really tell, getting mounted by some unfortunate soul. We're meant to take it seriously, but it honestly just reminds me of the Airsoft Fatty documentary that iDubbbz did a while back. The video starts with Mike stating that he has access to all of Boogie's day-to-day expenses as well as his schedules, all given to him by Boogie, of course. Now, an important note to remember is that Boogie wanted this to go out. He saw multiple revisions, and nowhere in that span of time did he think, hey, instead of making a documentary about how fucked up I am, maybe I should do something about it. You might say something like, Billy, don't you think you're being a little harsh? The video just started. What if he does something with the information? Well, as we continue in this video, you'll start to notice that Boogie has a pattern that he follows. We cut to Boogie struggling to get into the tub, and he starts talking about his ex-girlfriend who loved rubber ducks, hence the rubber ducks on the tub. Boogie starts to go into his finances, and he mentions that he has no idea how to spend money, and that most of his money, $600,000 of his savings, is all in crypto.
Look, all I am. All you care about is money.
Boogie has been on this platform for 2 decades. He had more than enough time and resources to figure this out. He could have, and still can, hired a financial advisor to help him pick smarter investments, a bank account that only allows him to access a certain amount of money, and then the rest of the money gets automatically sent to bills or debt, you know, whatever. But as we continue, you'll notice that this is not the first time he's heard any of this advice. So after sharing what was already an incredibly large amount of personal information, we move over to the elephant in the room. His weight. Boogie, like a lot of us, has struggled with his weight, despite a gastric bypass where they literally chop your stomach in half so you cannot eat. Boogie was somehow able to gain 200 pounds back. If there's one thing Boogie's good at, it's ruining second chances. We then transition into what I like to refer to as the fake understanding part of the video, where Boogie refers to himself as an addict when buying a $100 soundbar after he just saw that he has less than $700 left for the month. He clearly demonstrates that he has a problem with spending money. His monthly expenses coming out to negative $2,000 is a clear sign of that. And another unfortunate expense Boogie has is his addiction to sex, or I would have to assume it's an addiction considering that in the span of 3 years, he spent $200,000. I don't make that in 4 years. Boogie goes into how he'd take these women on vacations, buy them purses and gifts and cards. He even took one to Disneyland. Every elevator with Boogie in it is probably a tower of terror. Also, the part where the escort starts talking about how Boogie had 2 entrees seems a little rude for no reason.
He did eat a lot of food. I'm pretty sure he got 2 entrees, which was very unique.
In fact, this whole segment felt a little rude for no reason. She starts talking about how he had rolls upon rolls upon rolls and how she couldn't even find it.
We got back to the hotel, and I do regret to say that I slept with Boogie2988. But there was rolls upon rolls upon rolls, and it took me a lot of time to find a stick. And sleeping with Boogie is one of the reasons I quit sex work.
Yeah, that whole part just felt malicious. Boogie has a tonal shift in this part of the video. He doesn't really seem to be too concerned or too upset about the amount of money that he spent on this particular expense, since it let him fuck a couple of LA 10s, asking if that's so wrong. We get to see how Boogie actually finds these women on Seeking Arrangements, a sugar baby website. Boogie has this weirdly skewed sense of self-worth. You can notice how he's unattractive and how he's on a downward spiral towards an early grave, yet he still feels like he has this entitlement to beautiful women. He states that he deserves beautiful women, all while not giving anything to desire.
She's definitely a little thicker than I necessarily would always go for. I deserve to go to Disneyland with a beautiful girl. I deserve to go to New York and explore Times Square with a beautiful girl, right? Like, I deserve that. And I wanted that, and I've never had it.
This next part gets a bit sad to watch. We move on to Boogie trying to sell his cards in order to meet ends. With the trend Boogie is following, he has 6 months until he's completely bankrupt. He talks about how he can't even afford the $30 he spends in order to play Magic at a card shop he visits. But does that stop him from spending the $30 in order to play Magic at that store he visits? Does it also stop him from ordering Taco Bell on the way home? Now it's time to meet the Boogie Squad. Boogie hosts a game night for him and his buddies, but even that comes at a cost. While Boogie's telling his friends that he can't buy any more food for the game nights, Philip, this guy, tells him that they've been telling him the food doesn't matter for years. And then Boogie just randomly brings up that none of them have girlfriends.
When are we gonna start bringing girlfriends around? Also, when are we gonna start bringing girlfriends around that aren't hookers? Because
What the hell are you talking about?
After a quick interview from the gang, we transition into Boogie explaining why saying the N-word isn't really that bad.
I think as long as he stops tweeting the N-word, he'll be fine.
the N-word is just a word.
Now, just looking at Boogie, I could probably tell that he had an N-word controversy in the past. However, what I was not expecting were his extremely distasteful jokes about his ex-girlfriend who is deceased.
Yeah. I'm sorry you had to go through that, bro.
Yeah, that's okay. All right. I mean, I didn't go through it. I'm still alive. She's dead. And, so fuck her. And now she's dead.
We then move on to Boogie's childhood arcade, where he proceeds to sprain his ankle walking to the bathroom. This guy just can't catch a break, can he? The segment ends with this really weird death screen, insinuating that Boogie had died, but then there's a question mark at the end, so it's like really kind of pointless. I think they were hoping it would kind of be like a shock to the audience, but honestly, it just kind of made me go like, oh. So after that weird transition and a medical list longer than Santa's fucking naughty list, we see a bit into what's keeping the old engine running. And I gotta say, this is a little rough. Boogie talks like he's already dead, giving advice about how you need to enjoy what you've got while you have it, don't take things for granted, which kind of gives the feeling maybe this is actually what he needed to change. All of this while eating Taco Bell in front of the camera.
And it's just about making the best of it. Just enjoy what you got when you got it. Sometimes that's a chicken quesadilla.
At this point in the documentary, even Mike needs to take a break. He leaves Boogie's home and speaks with a YouTube analyst and a counselor, where they both speculate on what caused the downfall of Boogie's channel, as well as the obvious mental illness that potentially is keeping him this way. We come back to Boogie's home, where we unfortunately find out that Boogie had an unexpected bill from the hospital that sent him into a negative balance. How is it unexpected? Do they just charge you a monthly fee or something? As we delve deeper into what exactly Boogie is, we start to learn new terms like covert narcissist, which basically means that you use your misfortune and trauma to weasel your way into people's lives, so that way they feel sorry for you and they do things for you. Pessimism,
Defeated and confused and lost.
and irrational anger.
Is this what I have to do?
If that's not Boogie, I don't know what is. The constant self-degradation and hope for some pity change has been wearing on his audience for years now. And so at this point, Boogie's gonna have to get a job. So they set him up with a career counselor, and right off the bat, Boogie starts going into his laundry list of why he is the worst possible candidate for employment.
No work history, and no education. When you Google my name, you might see rumors that I beat my ex-wife and I'm also a pedophile.
He sounds like he's giving the formula for failure. It's insane.
I did work in the porn industry for the better part of 7 years, so I mean...
Be real with me. Do you really think it would be a good idea to go to a real interview and reference porn?
It depended on the job, I would think.
Boogie cannot be a real person, man. Mike asked the hiring coach if she could realistically get him a job. She basically says maybe, but with the felony, it might be difficult. At the end of the day, the firm did not want to represent him, which honestly, I don't blame him. Boogie is a tough cookie to crack. He's an even harder cookie to sell. You jump time 3 months later, and Boogie has refused to get an actual job and is now $7,000 in the red and has lost another 50,000 subs. Things aren't looking any better for our journey's hero. I don't know about hero, maybe our subject. We're then introduced to Boogie's new girlfriend. That's right. Boogie has a new girlfriend, and she is 20. She's 20 years old. Boogie is nearly 30 years old. Nothing more than that. Just wanted to include that detail. Boogie and Desiree have been dating for a few months, about as long as the 3-month break, and things seem to be going really well for them. So we cut to an interview with Desiree.
Growing up without a father figure has its challenges. Like, you just don't have that support system that you would and the advice that you need.
What led to that answer? I imagine them asking the question like, I'm here with the lovely partner of Boogie, Desiree. Now, you've been dating one of the more controversial and infamous YouTubers on this platform, and the fans gotta know. What was it like growing up without a dad? We have a quick part where Boogie talks about how weird the age gap is, and it follows up with...
Oh, my fucking eyes! What did I just...
Later that night, Boogie takes Desiree on a date, one that he cannot afford. One of the comedians notices Boogie and starts grilling him about the very noticeable and very obvious age gap and complains.
And I hate it when people single us out. I hate it when people like...
We're gonna do that though, it's to be expected.
Then why Did you sit in the front seat? What did you think was gonna happen? Boogie puts himself in the line of fire and then complains when he gets shot, much like he does in a lot of situations. He puts himself in some type of ruin and then cries about it later about how unfair everything is. Didn't I say you'd notice a pattern? We then head on home where Boogie and Desiree have a conversation about a very real possibility of Boogie losing everything and moving into a tiny apartment, or potentially just being straight up homeless. Keep in mind that this girl is 20 years old. She's not even old enough to drink and drive yet. This part particularly struck a nerve with me. It's his insane ability to lie with a complete straight face. Boogie states that his biggest fear is dying on Desiree. I'm pretty sure that's probably Desiree's biggest fear as well. Okay, I get it, last one. Boogie states that his biggest fear is dying while with Desiree, but that's a lie. He has the knowledge that these are the things that are causing him to stay into this situation, and he continues to do them. Therefore, his biggest fear can't be losing himself for the sake of Desiree. It has to be change. He is terrified of change. Boogie hears what he wants. As he states multiple times, his doctors and counselors have already given him information on how to change things. The counselor basically says that it all starts with you being somebody who you think is worth being saved. But Boogie only hears, figure it out yourself. Boogie has a very clear understanding that the things that need to change are the things that are making him sad. Yet he refuses to let go of those things. The way you change is by just being better than yesterday. It doesn't need to work overnight, but something needs to give. I'm just hoping it's not your heart. Now we move on to the segment where I actually start to know the events that have been happening with Boogie. For instance, Boogie's fight with Wings of Redemption, another morbidly fascinating YouTube. After the match, we see a breakdown of how the 10K from the match was instantly absorbed into the massive amount of debt Boogie has accrued for himself. The video continues for another 10 minutes of him crying and how he has no idea how to fix any of this. It just started to get a little repetitive, but we did get to see something very cool. We got to see Boogie take shrooms in the forest with a man named Flaming Star.
It's one of the only things I haven't tried yet.
And I've adopted the name Flaming Star. There's one thing that's
I would honestly watch a series of Boogie just trying different types of drugs for the first time. It would be insane. The video ends and I'm left with this sense of pointless intervention. As of today, Boogie has been posting more frequently, and I do know that the traffic from this documentary is obviously going to increase his traffic, but for how long can he sustain? In summary, Boogie is a narcissistic, self-sabotaging manipulator, and he doesn't seem to be changing his ways anytime soon. If you like this video, consider leaving a like and comment down below anybody you want to see me cover next. Yeah. I've always wanted to say that. That was pretty cool. All right, bye.